The summer slide isn't just applicable to reading skills, and don't let that phrase fool you. It's not the fun activity that you might see taking place in your local neighborhood park. Every teacher who's been around the sun a few times has seen it. Your students come in the first week of school and you think to yourself, what the heck did you learn last year? While the summer slide can be a difficult hurdle to overcome and some regression is inevitable, you can fight against it with just a few minutes a day of practice and review. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you 4 activities that you can send home with your students to help them keep their math skills sharp this summer. Stay tuned. What's kicking, educational rock stars? Welcome back to another episode of Teaching Made Easy. I'm the Center Fairy, your ultimate source into the wonderful world of classroom systems that actually work so that you can finally teach with less stress and less overwhelm. If this is your first time here joining me, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button and click that bell so that you get notified when I go live or upload a new video here on the channel. Now, fighting against the summer slide isn't necessarily hard. A skills-based review that students can complete independently in only a few minutes a day will keep their math and reading skills sharp and ready for next year. But summer is supposed to be a time of fun and relaxation, right? Yes, we don't want to overload our students down with boring rote practice and activities that take them ages to complete. So what can you do instead? Tip number 1, math centers. Hands-on or digital. Now, these centers are going to be fabulous because you can print them and then send them home, and then parents can actually cut them out with their students. You can choose to send the exit ticket home if you like. You don't have to, because these are game-like, so they're going to be fun for the students to be doing with their parents, and it helps if you keep it more like a game. But if you also wanted to save yourself the time of actually printing anything out and sending it home, then you could send home some digital centers, which this would be easier on you. However, I like the idea of sending home some hands-on activities because we know that they're probably going to be on devices so much this summer anyway. So sending some hands-on activities for them to do is my first choice. But if you want to make it easier, you could use digital. Now, how would you use digital if the students are already out of the classroom for the summer? Well, you could have your parents sign up for a personal Gmail that you could then send the activities to, and they could open up in something like Google Slides, or you could continue to use a platform that you've been using in your classroom during the school year if your students will have access to it over the summer. This might just take a little planning on your part and discovering which is going to be best for you. But I love the idea of using math centers as an activity that I can send home with my students to be able to practice over the summer. And bonus points if you come up with ways for your students to use everyday household objects, things that the students would find in their homes, to use as manipulatives and things that they might need for some of the math centers. So that is my first tip. And if you are looking for centers that might be appropriate for you to send home for your students, we have math centers for grades kindergarten through 5th grade in both hands-on and digital that you can click in the show notes or in the description somewhere around here. You can click on that and you can jump over and you can find those in our shop and you can go check those out. Now, tip number 2 is spiral review. Now, this is another print and send activity, so it's super easy for you to prep, and you can send this home in a packet, and students can work through this packet over the summer for review. Now, this isn't one of my favorite activities to send home over the summer because it is a packet full of worksheets. However, if you send home maybe a checklist with a bunch of tips for how parents can use this during the summer, that might alleviate them using it as just like sit down at the table and work through 2 worksheets tonight, because we don't really want it to be homework for them. So I suggest giving parents tips on when and how to use this. For example, they can use it in the car on long road trips, during days when the weather isn't perfect for playing outside. Remember, this isn't homework. It's just there to help them review. Now, we do have spiral review available in our shop for grades 1 through 3. And the bonus is that our spiral review includes reading and language arts skills as well. So more bang for your buck. Now, tip number 3 is probably my favorite. and that is math games. Now, math games are a perfect way to keep their skills sharp without it seeming like work. This also encourages time with family and friends, as most of these games are played with more than one person. So using games like our Squares Your Brain or Bump math games are perfect for this, and they're easy and low prep for you. Just print the game, put them into gallon Ziploc bags, and send them home. All of our games come with multiple game boards that cover a variety of skills, so they're perfect to send home with parents to have on hand for those rainy days or before bed as bonding time. Make sure you send home a little how to use guide for parents to help them on how to keep this fun, and again, not homework. Now, tip number 4. Okay, it's a toss-up between tip number 3 and tip number 4, so which one's my favorite? But tip number 4 is everyday math. Nothing is better than having students put their math skills to use in everyday life scenarios. Put together a simple little list of math skills that your students have learned this year, and then provide parents with everyday activities that they can have their child use those skills in. Activities like grocery shopping, measuring out ingredients when cooking, making change at the restaurant, counting the tip after a meal. When our students make these live connections, they commit these skills to a very different part of their brain and are able to recall these skills much easier. Now, whichever method you choose to help your students keep their math skills sharp this summer, the key is making it fun. Don't let the summer review just become more homework that they dread and avoid. By making it fun, they will be encouraged to practice over and over and be in tip-top shape for the coming year. This summer is also a great time to get your own classroom organized and in tip-top shape. That's where I come in. I want to help you whip your centers into shape, starting with getting them all organized so that you can actually know what you have and where you need to grow. Jump over and grab my free guide, 3 steps to organizing your math and literacy centers with the labels, and get started on your path to taming the chaos in your classroom. Now, are you looking for more tips, strategies, and simple systems to make your teacher life a little easier? Check out the videos on your screen. Thanks for watching, and keep being an educational rock star.